Are you ready to supercharge your life, reignite your passions, and conquer your dreams? Welcome back to our 3-part series on how to recharge your energy so you have the fuel to accomplish your dreams. If you missed part 1, pause the video and watch it right now. Although the concepts in this video stand on their own, you're certainly going to want to apply the low-hanging fruit actions that we recommended in video 1. Once you finish that, come back and learn about part 2. Video 1 was all about physical energy, and we're now going to expand upon the framework into an even more powerful form of energy, mental. There will be times where you do everything right physically and still don't feel mentally up for the challenge. This ties into the next row of the framework, mental energy. As we move down in the framework, the more abstract these ideas are going to get. Bear with me and see how you can connect your life experience to these concepts. They've done me a lot of good, and I know you too can benefit from incorporating these practices into your daily routines. Mental energy has to get over a certain threshold to have the motivation to make a physical action. I found myself getting into kind of a paradox here. When you have high physical energy, it's easier to exert mental energy. But in order to receive high physical energy, you need to exert yourself mentally to make that physical action. I found that when my mental energy is really in the gutter, it might be too difficult to do the physical energy hacks. In situations like this, the best advice that I have for you is to hit the restart button. When there's a problem with the computer, you just turn it on and off again. The same is true for your brain. It works so well. If you're really struggling from a lack of mental energy, then you must be engaging in some form of rest. The 3 options I have for you largely depend upon the time of the day. The most obvious form of rest is sleep. If it's in the evening and you're really dragging, there's nothing wrong with an early bedtime. If it's midday and you're in a lull, you can do a compressed sleep cycle with a nap. I've found naps to be very dangerous though, as you might wake up even more out of it than you were before. Because of this, I set a timer for my naps so I don't catch myself in an unoptimal stage of sleep. Nowadays, I rarely take naps and instead replace them with NSDRs. NSDR stands for non-sleep deep rest. I found this practice from Andrew Huberman actually, who has a great deal of neuroscience material on his podcast. NSDR is exactly what it sounds like. You're putting your mind in a state of deep rest without falling asleep. The literature is quite powerful on this practice, with it being especially valuable for clearing your mental cache and storing knowledge you've recently learned throughout the day. My favorite type of NSDRs are yoga nidras, which is quite popular on YouTube. I'll put a link to one of my favorites in the description below. By engaging in one of these sleep-like practices, you should begin to raise your mental energy without exerting much physical energy. I highly recommend giving the NSDR a try if you've never heard of it. It's a far more sustainable action than consuming stimulus as advertised by most of society. On that topic, it's become a cultural norm to reach for some sort of stimulation when we feel mentally fatigued. If you really feel understimulated at work, the solution is to drink caffeine or to get an Adderall prescription. These Band-Aids do not actually solve the underlying problem that's preventing that activation of mental energy. In addition to these consumable stimulants, social media is a digital pacifier we use to provide our brain more dopamine. In reality, this habit is extremely destructive to our mental energy. Why? Because it's giving you a spike of the feel-good neurotransmitters without having to exert any of the effort to retrieve it. You're training your brain that you don't need to work hard to receive your dopamine. When it comes time to do hard work, your brain knows that it can receive a high level of pleasure through a simple scroll of TikTok, and you'll experience friction between you and the action that you know that you should be making. Do not use social media or stimulants in the form of drugs as a means to recharge your mental battery. You'll certainly feel as though you have more mental energy while using it, as your brain is firing off the feel-good neurotransmitters, but afterwards you'll go into another dip and find even more difficult to motivate yourself to do the actions which bring you more energy. I know this is a tough pill to swallow, especially for those of you who are absorbed in the digital world, but you have to self-reflect and recognize the cause and effect relationships that are taking place through the exposure to these stimulants. Once you become honest with yourself, you too will realize that some of these habits are self-destructive as they perpetuate low energy states. Now that it's clear what passive tools we can use and the stimulus to avoid, you're probably wondering what you should do if you're in a situation where you can't engage in a passive tool. Let's say you're in the office and you're really dragging. The coffee machine is only a few steps away, and you'll get fired for doing a yoga nidra in your office as it looks like you'll be taking a nap. What do you do now? Well, one of the most powerful mental energy hacks that I've found in recent years is meditation. In my opinion, meditation is one of the most powerful tools you have for reducing your mental entropy. At any given moment in time, your attention is fixated by something. While you're watching this video, I hope that your attention is fixated by the words that I'm sharing and not some background thought like your girlfriend forgetting to take out the trash yesterday. There's no getting around the fact that your attention is directed at a particular focal point. Sometimes your attention is bouncing between so many different stimuli at once when it feels as though you don't have any focus at all. Through continual context switching, you're burning out your mental energy. Through the act of meditation, you're raising your self-awareness over where you're placing your focus. With this enhanced awareness, you can recognize where your attention is drifting and redirect it more intentionally. In addition, you can catch yourself while engaged in unproductive thoughts and pull yourself out of them. Meditation is a must-have daily habit for exactly these reasons. It really helps you take a step back out from yourself and see which programs are running in your head. As you become a more skilled meditator, you'll learn how to close the unnecessary programs and direct your mental energy behind one intention. The skill of meditation allows for you to engage in more tasks which activate mental energy. Through my experience, activities which require intense focus, the absolute contraction of focus upon a singular stimuli, the more potential there is to retrieve the energy source. Why this is, I don't have a full grasp on. Talking through my experience, I undoubtedly see this to be true in some of my favorite hobbies. When I go into a jiu-jitsu class, I'm certainly exerting physical energy, but afterwards I feel rejuvenated with mental energy, as I was just stimulated and fully present with the task. When I go rock climbing, I'm scaling a 20-foot wall with my hands about to give out, but have just 2 more steps to go before I reach the top. And when this happens, I'm completely engaged in the action at hand and afterwards experience a great deal of positive mental energy. The common theme behind these activities is that we can retrieve high levels of energy by narrowing our focus on particular aspects of our environment. By reducing the amount of entropy in mind, we're channeling our energy in a way to retrieve more energy. When I'm rock climbing and I'm about to reach the top, I need precise focus and concentration on my body so that I can exert the force required to reach the top. If I'm thinking about doing my laundry or that I need to call my grandma, my mental energy and mental focus is split and I won't perform as well on my climb. I do the best when I'm completely present and I'm rewarded for this presence through more energy. By being a producer, by exerting yourself, you're setting yourself up to retrieve more energy. This entire concept relates to that of flow state. Flow is an optimal state of performance where you're fully engaged with the task at hand. It's not too boring and it's not too difficult. Flow is a concept which I've really sunk my teeth into in the recent years. It's such an impactful concept that I've made multiple videos in reference to it on this channel. If you want to learn more about flow, check out my review of the Focus Calm device, which I put on our website. At the end of the day, optimizing mental energy is more about what to avoid than what to do. The passive tips are pretty simple. Hit the restart button on your mind every once in a while and you're good. You may not have heard of NSDR before, and if that's the case, then this is a big win watching this video today. If you change one thing about your lifestyle, NSDR could be one of the first places to start because of how low effort it is. It's such a high return on investment habit which can scale into even more valuable habits. As you develop the NSDR habit, consider meditating more often. This skill is extremely valuable as it'll help you get into those flow-like states more often. Depending on how serious you are about optimizing mental energy, you're gonna have to make some sacrifices. The stimulants which are promoted in the modern day, they gotta go. They provide an artificial peak of energy but get you into dependency, which we're very much so against here at Science. We want to help you become an autonomous being, one which is capable of exerting their will and creating a better world. If you need to consume stimulants to motivate yourself to use your brain, you're clearly not doing that which you love on this earth. We want to help you change that. In my journey of starting this company, I've unlocked far more fulfilling work which doesn't require me to drug myself up to perform. The work is its own reward, and I know the same can be true for you if you are just in alignment with your curiosities and passions. If you feel like you're lacking this alignment, then stick around for the next video where we'll uncover just that. Until then, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. If you found the content useful, go ahead and share it with someone who you think would receive value from it. We're trying to get this information into the hands of as many people as possible so others can benefit from what we've learned in our own lives. Thanks for watching.